Good morning. I'm Brinda. I'm here to welcome you to Explorations by Olit. At Olit, we offer personalized travel and adventure experiences because we believe in the philosophy that traveling is a means to experience culture and values of humanity. And that's exactly what we bring to you today with our Explorations program, which is an online webinar program with workshops on map reading, astronomy, paragliding, and live storytelling sessions by individuals who have been part of or had fascinating journeys here. So today we have with us, for today's session on map reading, we have with us Dr. Prabin Sukumaran to facilitate this session. Dr. Prabin Sukumaran is a geologist having interest and field experience in paleoanthropology and associated climatic reconstructions. Presently, he is associated with Charotar University of Science and Technology, Gujarat. He's a dedicated academician and has extensively participated in field-based research all across India. To add to his academic excellence, Dr. Sukumaran has also been a recipient of several prestigious awards and fellowships at national and international levels. Indian National Science Academy Visiting Scientist Fellowship 2020 awarded to him is considered as one of the most reputed awards at the national level. Recently, he has also been nominated as the principal candidate for Fulbright Nehru Academic and Professional Excellence Fellowship, a prestigious Indo-US fellowship. Dr. Sukumaran, in all of this, also manages to find time to interact with school children in primary and secondary schools around the university to motivate them to pursue science and empower them as individuals who have innovative thinking. He undertakes this activity in association with Vadodara Innovation Council, the only city-based innovation council in India. Welcome, Dr. Sukumaran. Pleasure to have you with us today. Without any further ado, over to you.
Yeah, very good morning to all. Let me just take a minute to share my screen. Okay, so in today's session, we are going to take a journey through the maps. So all of us may know that maps are one of the important things that will give us direction, where to go, how to reach. But when we talk about the skill of understanding the map, that we call in general terms, it is a map reading. So map reading is nothing but understanding the information from the map. Extract the required information from the map. So for example, if I ask you, what is it written on this slide? Some of you may not be able to read this. What is it written? It is some language. We may not be able to read this. But in other sense, if I ask you to read this sentence, yeah, this is very easy for us to read. It is reading that India is my country, all Indians are my brothers and sisters. I love my country and I am proud of its rich and varied heritage. I shall always strive to be worthy of it. Yeah, it's a very lengthy sentence. Still, we are able to read the sentence. How come we are able to read the sentence? Because we are having a skill. What is that skill? That skill is a reading skill. Now, if you recall back your initial days of junior KG, senior KG, first standard, second standard, then you will come to know that this process of acquiring the reading skill, which has gone a very long way, starting from the saying that the teachers in the schools, junior KG and senior KG, were telling you that it is a letter C and the sound of C is K. Then we started coming out with connecting these sentences. They were always telling us, okay, this is different sound, different words. Then finally, we turned out to be joining these sounds together. Then it becomes words. And then that words becomes sentences. Then we progress in our learning. Then we come to know that, okay, this has we are now able to read number of different lengthy sentences. We are able to write essays. We are able to read poems. Anything is written in English language, we are now able to read that. Now, this process of learning that skill, reading skill, it has gone through a very long way, at least at the initial 2-3 years of the education which has gone through. But when it comes to other important field, which is very necessary for anyone's life, that is map. When it comes to the map, there are few times we may not be able to understand what is there in the map. What is demonstrating in the map? In a simple way, what is a map? Map is nothing but it is a 2-dimensional representation of a 3-dimensional area. But when we represent our surface, when we represent our 3-dimensional feature in a 2-dimensional area, there is number of science behind that. Though this number of scientific things which are behind this preparation of map is related to the skill of understanding the map. For example, if I show you these different varieties of maps, we may not be able to understand. It is almost the same case here, that in the first slide, when I show you that was the Chinese language, it was written, "How are you all?" But we were not able to understand that. But the same thing happens here. When you see this image, we may not be able to understand anything from this map. But as a person who is having a skill of reading the map, I may not be able to understand what is demonstrating in this image. Similarly, there are different varieties of map, different number of different varieties. So this is the system of representing the 2-dimensional features of the area. Now, what are these different components? So the initial stage of this webinar on this presentation, my objective is to give you a general idea about what are all the initial major components of this map reading. Then I will give you a outline that what are the areas these map readings are important in these days, or it is important in the future. Why this skill of reading the map or understanding the basic science behind this map reading and the mapping exercises are necessary for a school children at this age. Because the future generation, when you are thinking about, they are all going to be more digital in nature. So the things which are nowadays not connected are now getting into a connected. And you must also be knowing that the artificial intelligence, machine learning, all these new technologies which are coming up, these all things are nowadays connected with the positions, the latitude, longitude, their geographical positions, and that is directly linked to the map and its principles behind the map reading exercise. Okay, so this is how I thought of getting into this basic practices or basic science to share with the school children, so that they can improve their skill. When they grow up, they will get into more details of the skills, and finally they can become a very tech savvy in nature. So just for an example, I'm going to take you to a simple exercise to tell you that what are the different components. It's a very basic way. I'm trying to cover that. What are the basic components which are very essential and important for the understanding of map reading skill. And I assume that the students and the parents who are all participating in this webinar, by keeping that a diverse group of people, I kept it. It's very simple. Rather, in the later period, we may focus on different groups and can get into more details and explore the possibilities. Rather, this webinar right now, today, it's a very general nature. I will be only touching the main aspects, and I will be only explaining the main fundamental principles behind the map reading. Now, if I take the example, because I'm, as you all just as is introduced, I am working in a university which is there in Gujarat. So I have taken that location of university itself. Now, if I think of the location of my university is located between Vadodara and Ahmedabad, and then which is in between there is a small town called Nadiad, and towards from Nadiad, this is the location of my university. So in simple way, if I say that, okay, my university is located in between Ahmedabad and Vadodara. Now, if I am asking you that, okay, I am right now sitting, or I'm right now standing at Vadodara, and I need to reach Charusat University. How do I reach? Can you just think of all the participants? How do I reach Charusat University? Yeah, you may be thinking right now that Okay, I have to start from Vadodara and I have to move towards Ahmedabad. When I reach Nadiad, I have to take a left turn. Then I will reach Charusat University. This is layman's language of understanding the map. Very nice. Most of you will be able to answer this. Now, but it seems something not very, this is a layman's language. Anybody in the, any human, if you ask, who knows the location of Charusat will be answering this way. Now, if you go little more detail into this, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a location. I'm going to add one component to this map. What is that component I'm added? I'm adding a component that is the directions. And we know that the directions what we are having, we have north direction, we have south direction, and we have west, and we have east. Now, just added one component to this map. Now, if I'm asking you, how do I reach Charusat from Vadodara? Then the answer may be something like, what would be the answer? Yeah, it may be something like that. I have to start from Vadodara. I have to move towards the north direction till I reach Nadiad. After reaching the station or the location, Nadiad interchange, I have to move towards west. Then I will reach Charusat. Correct? Start from Vadodara, reach Nadiad, take the west direction, then I reach Charusat. Seems little more better than that of our earlier understanding. So from the layman's language, now we have come up to a little more technical language. But still it is not complete. Why? What is not complete here? Because right now I don't know how much time I will take to reach from Vadodara to Nadiad. I don't know the distance, how far it is. I don't know how far it will take, how long it will take for me to reach from Nadiad to Charusat in the west direction. So Vadodara to Nadiad, it is a north direction I have to move, but how long, what distance I have to move? So if I am trying to add one more component to that, what is that component it is going to be? That component is the scale. So here, what I have shown, I have added one component, the direction I have added, then my earlier understanding become little more clear or scientific. Now, when I added one more small component to the map, that is a scale. What is that scale? That scale which says this one block and another block, two blocks together, this represent a 20 kilometer distance. Now, if I count when I starting from Vadodara, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks are there. So each block is 10 kilometer. Now 6 blocks means that is 60 kilometer, then which is slightly ahead of that. So let us take it is 62 kilometers. I have to move towards which direction? North. I will reach Nadiad. Now, depending upon your speed, if you are traveling at 60 kilometers per hour, so you will reach this site Nadiad in 1 hour duration. So that turn after 1 hour, traveling 62 kilometers, around 1 hour, more than 1 hour, traveling 62 kilometers, I need to take a turn, and that has to be on the western direction. When I move towards west, in how many kilometers? 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 40 kilometers. If I travel, I will reach the location of Charusat University. And these locations and distances, what I'm mentioning here is just for a understanding. It is not actual distances in our university location. This is for our understanding, I'm just mentioning. Okay, so it seems much better. Now what I have added to this system, I have added one more thing along with the direction, which goes the scale. So when I added this thing to the initial layman's language and the direction, then the scale, it become more scientific in nature. Now let us think about one more thing. What I'm going to do, add to this map, that is a legend. What is the legend? Legend means whatever things which are drawn in the map are of what characteristic, what different parameters are there. For example, if I take this map where I have used the location of Charusat University is represented by a symbol, and the location of places are represented by another symbol. All three locations are represented by another symbol. Then I have two different highways. For example, the highway which travels from Vadodara to Ahmedabad, that is that is Express Highway, National Highway 1, NE1, and from Nadiad to Charusat, which is a highway, that is a State Highway 89. So what I have done right now here, I have given a legend to the map. Now, if I am asking you after seeing this map, if I'm asking somebody that how do I travel, how can I reach Charusat University from Vadodara? Then the answer would be something like what? The answer would be something like that I have to start from Vadodara, and I have to drive 62 kilometers towards north on National Express Highway 1. I will reach Nadiad at around 1 hour. And after reaching Nadiad, I have to take a western turn, and in the western direction on State Highway 89, I have to travel 40 kilometers. Then I will reach Charotar University of Science and Technology. So see that how the simple layman's language to the thing, this is how systematically now things are arranged, things are organized. Now, if I say this description to anybody, that the person is very well able to understand. Now, while saying this, you must recall something that we are using these days, that is the Google Maps. So when you put these things in the Google Map, this is how we are getting the directions. Now, here I took an average time, that is 60 kilometers per hour is the driving speed of my car that I can decide. But Google nowadays is taking that speed, that what is the speed, what is the congestion, what is the traffic on that road in a real time by monitoring the movement of vehicles. And if there is a vehicle passing through, they are taking an average speed and they are giving us a time. And that where we are completely dependent on these days, and we are extensively using that. Okay, so this is how, if you are able to understand this concept, now we have learned the skill of map reading. But don't think this is only for users. If you are a user, this skill is sufficient. But I don't want you people, the new generation, to be simply the users of the technology, because the new generation, the millennials, the people who are born after 2000, they are in the technology, they're born with the technology, and they are very tech savvy today. And for them, the technology is nothing. They can handle any technology, whatever the technology. For me, it may be a little bit of difficult to acquire a new technology or acquiring skill in a new gadget. But the new people, the new generation, they are very skilled in the technology, and the way they use, they handle the gadgets, that is very excellent. But the parents, the teachers, the schools, the organizations, where we are struggling today is to give them the correct gadget and the correct application. Because technology means it is not everything useful. There are so many technologies, so many things which is not progressive, rather it is adversely affecting the child. Now, as of today, if you have seen that the students, the young generations are more in the influence of that kind of technologies, where we have technologies like maps, reading, exploration, getting in touch with different natural things. All that wider aspects are there in the world, and it is in our fingertip. It is freely accessible. And that freely accessible things, we are not able to provide to the new generation as a teacher, as an adult, as a parent, as a representation of an organization. I feel these are the directions that we need to give to our new generation young children. so that they will start enjoying these things. When they enjoy these things, when they start exploring these things, their new things will come up. Okay, so don't think this is the entire thing, entire details of the map reading, but this is now we are now able to read the map with the details, but this is only in a user level. We can use this map reading, but it comes into more details. Like just for an example, if I say now, when the previous map I have shown that the Charusat University is located from Nadiad, 40 kilometer on west direction. Charusat University is located. Now, if you imagine that in his case, when we see it from the top, it seems that everything is plain. But is this the reality? That the location of Charusat University is at top of a hill, and I am traveling on this road, and from here, this is Nadiad, I have to move towards the Charusat University. There, if I calculate that I will be traveling the same speed of 60 kilometers per hour to reach the Nadiad, then I will travel towards Charusat, towards west, the same speed. It is not going to happen because it is in the top of a hill, or it is in the higher surface, and that is, we call it as the topography. So that complications come into the map reading. Now, how to understand this is again a simple aspect, and I'm not having that plan to get into that details right now. And even the scales, there are different varieties of scales. In the direction, there are different varieties of directions. We call it is meridian, and there are different varieties of meridians in the maps we'll get, and all that things, all details. I'm right now not going into the details. This also I'm not going into the details. This is just for to give you a curiosity to the students. This idea is just put forward. Now, again, the next complication comes. What is the shape of our Earth? If you ask the shape of our Earth, it is not a plane. It is something like a spheroid, oblate spheroid. That is what we call it as the name of the size of shape of our Earth. It is something like the sphere, but flattened from the poles. So something like that. Now, this is how we projecting it. We are preparing the maps from this globe. Now, when you are preparing this into the maps, the globe is now converting into a plane thing. So this comes into the picture in the map. So the reading of the map, measurement of the distances, directions, all that parameters are now related to the projections. So there are few things, very basic fundamental concepts of projections. And if you are able to understand, then we are one level than that of a user. The person who is using the Google Maps will be able to get into more details when we get to know about some of these aspects, like the projections, the topographical characteristics. So altogether, if you see, there are major important aspects in the map that we call it as a meridian, that it is a direction, and that is an imaginary line connecting our north and south poles. And there are different varieties of meridians, and what meridians are there, what are the maps, what is the relations, all that things comes into the picture. Then it comes to the characteristics of scale. What is the scale we are using? In the initial example, we have seen that one block, I have said it is 10 kilometers. Now, one block in my drawing, how much it is? If it is 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 1 inch, 2 inch, how do we convert that? How do we measure that? That comes into the picture. Then the projections, which area we are working in and what area we are working in, that projections comes in. So if we get these components, if you have an understanding of this component, anyone is not necessary to have a graduation or a post-graduation degree to understand this concept. But if you are able to understand these concepts right now in an age, in a 6th or 7th standard age, then the world is open for you. There are so many things which is available in the internet that will give you a very good exposure. Okay, so few of them I'm going to explain here. That is how I thought of offering these courses for the online learning. And I'm very happy to see that the organizations like your school and the Nandini's organization, these people are taking interest that to convey these messages to the students. And I'm very happy to interact with the students. And under this scheme, whatever the things what right now I have discussed, I will put it into two categories because it is not uniform for everyone. And if a child in a 6th standard or 7th standard is interested to have little knowledge about these things, I would rather suggest them to go for the first module of the course, where it is only a 1.5 or 2 hours per session, where basic things, now I told the basic fundamental things, and that further details of that will make conveyed to the students in a very proper way and make them thoroughly understand that concepts, and that understanding of that concepts will help them to explore more in the near future when they go into a higher secondary or the 10th or 9th standard. And if you have the students in that group, they are interested, then we'll go for this first option, understand maps, that includes this basic level of map reading exercises. And that will include details of what is this map. I broadly explained some things in the initial today, and then their components, what is this north arrow, what are different varieties, how is it connected to the map, how is it identified in the ground, how do we orient our map, and how do we manage our traverses. And along with that, there will be number of different resources which are available today on the internet. Number of free resources. I'll tell you just a basic example. The government of India have now started with a project that geospatial technologies. What they are doing, they are taking training program, they are conducting training programs for the academicians, so that this geospatial technologies has to be penetrated to the lower level, in all level, because geospatial technologies that includes this GIS, remote sensing, and this is basically the mapping. And these all terminologies, GIS, it is simply a software, and we have a number of free softwares available on internet. And these all softwares, take me granted that these are all very simple softwares. If you have the fundamental knowledge of mapping and its main concepts, these all software domains are open for you. And the amount of spatial data sets which is available today, if you just want to check, just go to the NASA website, Earth Explorer, and you just type, I need to download a Landsat image which is 20 years or 30 years before, captured before 20 or 30 years. It is freely available. If you know a software, if you know the basic operations of software, you are now, even anybody in the world is now able, or they are capable to operate a software is available with dataset. Plenty of dataset, take it granted, plenty of dataset. You will work your entire life analyzing the datasets and understanding, exploring the things. And all globe, it is not only a small part, it's all globe dataset is available. What we are lacking right now is we are not having that basic skill of understanding the map, analyzing the map. And the analysis is nowadays is in softwares, and that softwares we call it as GIS. And the powerful software, just an example, if I say that is a QGIS. QGIS is a software, Quantum GIS is the name of the software, and there is a free software, GIS software, that will give us plenty of options to visualize these things. And I personally believe that a child of 6th or 7th grade is now introduced to this kind of technologies, and they start exploring this kind of technologies. At the time when they reach the undergraduate courses, they are readily acceptable to any industry, so they can do wonders in the future. But right now what the system happens, it is, I don't blame only for the students, but the problem is there in the system. We are now more focusing in on grades and the marks what we are scoring. And then as a result, sometimes we lack, we have to compromise on improving our own skills. So at least now these people have started, at least the school have taken this initiative, and they have allowed me to speak to the children. This is a wonderful opportunity. They have now, that at least few of the students are now aware this kind of things are there. And I hope, I look forward that some of you actively participate and take up this small course. And your parents may be spending a lot of money for money to take you away from the gadgets, mobile phones and TVs and laptops. And I will say that it is not the right time to bring the child away from these gadgets. They cannot survive in the future. Let them be with the gadget, but let them be with the correct direction and the gadget. Don't allow them to go into this brain draining kind of things, which is a very well planned activity which is going on in the internet world. We are still not aware about what is happening, but let them focus on this kind of new exploration thing. Let them explore things, let them learn things, let them improve the skill, let them learn some small coding and start preparing their own coding. And if you have started coding, and if you are able to do a little bit of coding at the end of your schooling, then you have plenty of opportunities. You will never find a free time in your life, and you will enjoy that. I have seen people working. It is for their own satisfaction. There are a lot of opportunities. So the fundamental concept in this line, I'm not telling that the mapping and the map reading is everything in the life. This is only one thing. Like there are hundreds or thousands of other areas a child can go through, and they can get motivated and they can get engaged in school level itself. And the mapping and this exercise is one way where they can focus on, and in future it will obviously going to help us. I'll tell you a few of that. And this is the first mode of course which you are planning, and the second one, it is the advanced code. And if a little more older students, like in the standards of 8th or 9th, are interested, we will be slightly focusing on some more aspects like the application and a little bit of computer skills, the application skills on the GIS skills. Okay, so that is what the idea of this program, what we are thinking of. And now I think I have few simple examples. All of you can check, those who are interested. There is a website called Earth Engine Time Lapse. Just type it in Google, that Google Earth Time Lapse. There you will be able to see areas where there is changes which happened in the last 30-40 years. So here what you see is a river, we call it as a meandering river, and what you are seeing is a changes in the meandering river happened in the last 30 years. This is 1984, it was something like this, and in 2018 this is something like this. See that how much differences which has happened. And by sitting at your home, you can explore all these things. This is all free of cost. It is all free. And it is Google, and Google is earning millions of dollars by doing these things. You people will know that. There's nothing free in Google. We are all contributing to Google. And right now, it is the time that India has started thinking of their own mapping and their own softwares, and it will require a huge amount of manpower in the near future. As today in Bangalore, people sitting at the in these outsourcing companies and working for Google, the same way India will require a manpower to make our own mapping practices. And this is another example that it is in the Google Earth. I just wanted to see where your school is, and this is the school. It is located. I have seen your building, and there is the front gate. Just in front of your school, there is some what we call, there is some godowns or something is there. I don't know exactly what it is. And I just want to see where nearby your school, what are the features. I can see towards west there is a small lake, and if I go further in the towards northeast direction, there is another lake. This is where your school is located. And the topography, if I see that your school is slightly located in a small hill of type of, not major hill, or it's only a 5-10 meters of elevated surface, maybe an artificial one. That is how your school is located. And this is where now India is focusing on Bhuvan, and it gives plenty of free resources. Only thing, the student of any age, if you are able to use computer mouse and keyboard, then things are now open for you. And I think the parents, I request the parents who are participating or listening to this session, please take your child to this direction, rather keeping away from if you want to keep them away from the social medias and all these student applications or games, rather expose them to this kind of areas. They will start enjoying this kind of things. Okay, so this is from my side for today. And I feel that millionaires are born with technology, so you should lead it. You should not allow the parents or teachers, as a teacher or a parent or an adult, we are not there to take you away from the technology. We want you to be adopting to the correct technology and lead our nation and bring our nation to the top in the world. Okay, so thank you very much. So explore your curiosity, and we are all there to help you, and I will be very happy to help. And I personally believe the school, what you are doing right now, is a wonderful thing. It is a really wonderful thing. And as a person who is associated with higher education, we really feel guilty sometimes, the kind of struggles or the kind of way the young children are losing their passions and skills to achieve a high score in the schools. But currently you people are doing a very wonderful work. Please keep doing this. Invite as much as possible, as much as not expert, I'm not an expert anyway, any peoples who are doing something in their field, and to try to create a venue for them to interact with the school children. This will change the education system, and this will change our national, it will bring our nation to the best level possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sukumaran. That was a fantastic session. I wish I was in school now, personally. I'm sure that this session was interesting and informative, not just for the students, but also the parents. And I see a lot of possibilities for parents and children to do work on mapping together, because it seems to be a thing there where age is not really a bar at all. Probably the children with their early exposure to technology possibly will help their parents learn, teach them how to work with this as well. It can be, there are so many possibilities. Thank you so much. For anyone who needs more information on the program or wants to know more, you can sign up for the program with your school, and we will share a PDF with you in the comments, which you can look at for more information, or you can also get in touch with your school for more information. Hope you all enjoyed this session. Hoping to have you all join us soon. Thank you so much.